Meeting on Wednesday, June 14th, 2023. I believe we have a quorum, do we?
We do.
Thank you. So I'll call the meeting to order. And I would like to acknowledge that we are on the unceded traditional territory of the Lakwatuk people. And I'd like to have a motion to adopt the agenda for June 14th, the regular meeting.
Move adoption.
Thank you, Mr. Rice.
You want to amend it?
I thought we were doing it under new business. That's what Mr. Rice told me.
You were going to do, sorry.
Yeah.
I do have an amendment to make. There is some new business.
Okay, do you want to add that to new business then? A motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you.
Thank you. So a motion to move the agenda as amended? Mr. Rice, and my seconder was Director Smythe, or Commissioner Smythe, I guess now we're called. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? It's carried. We don't have any petitions or delegations, do we? And I'd like for a motion to adopt the previous meeting minutes held April 12th, 2023.
Move adoption.
Thank you, Commissioner Rice. Thank you, Commissioner Dahl. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? It's carried. Any business arising from the minutes? No. Any public considerations for the current meeting? Seeing none. Chair reports, I don't have one. Now we're into the meat of it. We have staff reports. Motion that the report from the Chief Administrative Officer be received regarding the 2022 key performance indicators.
Move adoption.
Thank you, Commissioner Rice.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Grunwald. Any discussion on the motion to receive? Hearing none. All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Is there any motions that arise from that?
No, but we have a PowerPoint here, Madam
Okay,
Chair.
let's enjoy our PowerPoint.
They're just pulling it up.
Through the chair to the commissioners, this report had been done at previous commission meetings. This will be the first one for this group. We welcome your feedback at the end and questions or any changes you would like in the report. It predominantly focuses on 2022, but there is some 2023 content in here.
I can just say next.
Next. Oh, what I got the clicker. Oh, there we go.
Went too fast.
Maybe I gotta aim it somewhere out. There we go. I gotta aim it back here. Yeah. Okay. So it's just some highlights from 2022 and some pictures. So, you know, minor hockey has been a very big part of the Strathcona Gardens. And we've had the Camel River Home and Wellness Show at the Gardens for multiple years. We're working into adding pickleball tournaments. We had the Great Benjamin Circus at the facility in 2022, Rogers Hometown Hockey, and then we did an annual New Year's Eve celebration, and it's all sponsored by McDonald's in town. And then, yeah.
Sounds better.
Yeah.
So the Campbell River Killer Whales and Salmon King swim clubs have both enjoyed their record numbers in the past their swim season, 2022-2023. And a part of that was a collaboration with the Gardens. When we recognized that we couldn't fully staff the pool, we moved these swim clubs to after-hour rental model, where they come in when the public is not able to. And it benefits the club in that they can utilize more of the swimming pool, and benefits the community because we're providing access to the pool even when we don't have lifeguards to do so.
And that works with the regulatory authorities.
Okay, and along with the success in the pools at the gardens, minor hockey, they enjoyed a very successful year in 22-23 season. Their overall registration was up from previous years, and they had nearly 500 kids registered in minor hockey. And along with minor hockey's 8 annual recreation tournaments that they host each year, they were selected for the U18 Tier 2 provincial championships. And it was just such a treat to host that event because it was one of the first, or probably the largest event that we had hosted in 2 years at the facility.
And then the Campbell River Storm, a very big part of the Strathcona Gardens, and their in 2021-2022 season, they did start an orange jersey campaign, and then these are 2 players that are from the nations, I believe, Craig? Yes. Yes. And then just events and programs. You know, we're always striving to listen to the community feedback, provide more programs for youth, work with parents and user groups. And, you know, these are some of the events that we do. We do like a Friday night pizza night and movie on the leisure ice. We have family fun fitness with Mom and Tot. We have a youth weight room after school program where there's just the youth allowed in the weight room. And it's highly successful. It allows them to come out of school, comes to the garden before their hockey or swimming events. It is well utilized. And, you know, we do have some sponsored events from local businesses in town as well, where they'll sponsor a swim and they'll rent the aquatics facility for the day. And then, you know, we forecast that out to the community.
Moving on to the marketing, one of the biggest steps forward for the gardens in 2022 is the onboarding of Amy Lotus in a new position at the gardens as our marketing specialist. Her work allowed us to substantially increase the value of our current marketing tools like social media, our website, and other forms of advertising. All of this improved our patrons' experience and awareness of our programs, and it just positively affected the registration levels. This new position also gives us an insight into the data available. And just to talk a bit about that, on average, we'd reach about 7,000 to 10,000 people per month on our social media channels. Our social media ad campaigns are a successful and efficient way of communicating with the public. An example of this as well is the North Island Outdoor Adventure Show that we hosted this year. We reached over 30,000 people and had over 500 clicks to that website. And we find that when we post about a program on social media, say on a weekday at 6 p.m., we see an uptick in registration an hour, 2 hours after that post going live. And it's just a direct result of that being sent at the right time to the homes in the community. And another big example that we saw too is when we opened registration for summer programs the week of May 15th, we had over 400 online registrations in just 5 days. And then talk about our website. Since January 1st, the Gardens website is at an average of 28,000 monthly views. And those people spend an average of 36 seconds on our website. So they're not really browsing too long. I think most of those people are dropping in to have a look at our schedules just so they could get some quick information. And we find that 75% of the viewers are viewing mobilely on their phones. And we're working on ways to make it easier for people to use their phones to register for programs, like just scanning the QR codes and using those and taking them directly to the links to register for programs.
And this is an example of Rachel Blaney that shared a post from our marketing specialist. So feel free to start following the Gardens and share some of our posts.
If I may, Robin, I just have an example of how Amy's work goes beyond just marketing and drawing numbers. So in 2022, the Red Cross left the business of swimming lesson delivery, and all authorized providers had to find a new swimming lesson provider, and we opted to go with a Life Saving Society model. And Amy prepared the transition campaign, so educating staff and educating public in how those lessons will transfer over, what does it mean? And we had a completely seamless transition from the Red Cross program to the Life Saving program in January of this year. And that's almost unheard of, to change an entire delivery model without kind of mass confusion amongst the participants. And that's directly to having a cohesive plan and rolling that out.
And then KPI, I mean, it inherently in the past stood for key performance indicators, but there's a little play here where it's about keeping people informed, involved, interested, inspired. So that's where we would like your feedback if you would like any changes, and then frequency on how often you would like this report. So drop in attendance and registered programs. I mean, the key points for this graph is when you look at the blue in the pool, people just want to show up and attend the pool. There's a lot of unplanned pieces there. And then when you look at the registered programs, and it's orange and fitness, that is 100% related to the fitness activities that happen in the pool throughout the day, with predominantly members of the community that are retired or semi-retired. So like I said, the pool is a very big part of the community. Do you have anything to add, Sarah? No? Okay. And then just here's a graph just showing the combined yearly attendance. In 2020 and 2021, we combined those because the numbers were lower. 2022, we started an increase. The numbers haven't gone back up to 2019. It's just based on some staffing levels. I think we've got a pretty good handle, and everybody's been working very, very hard to increase staffing levels and get those hours of operation to where that it meets sort of the public demand. And as everybody knows, Campbell River is growing, so the demand is increasing, and we are playing catch up, but we're aware of it and we're working very hard. And then just for memberships and ongoing partnership, just with the city, our LIFE program is very popular. That's the graph in the white. And that's just sort of so that everybody has an opportunity to participate in recreation in the community. And then our 10 visit pass is very popular as well. It's just more economical. And then just facility generator revenue, 2023 should see us back to 2019 numbers. And then operating expenses. And just, one note in this slide is, we spent as much in 2022 as 2019. And it's not just due to increases to maintain the facility. It is aging. That is part of the costs being where they are for that. And trends, just the latest stats, we've added 29 new staff since early 2022. That's operations, concessions, gate shop, lifeguards, predominantly in the aquatics. And that's just, there's a demand piece. There are young aquatics lifeguards that have changed careers or have gone to school. And so it's just sort of a revolving door. And then just events that we've had and visitors as far as stats go. We keep track of the North Island Outdoor Show patrons, the Play Campbell River Days, the home show, and we've welcomed over 4,000 visitors through our doors in the last few months. and our regular programs. And just like I said, we're exploring new opportunities to utilize that space and meet community needs. And it's just something that's sort of evolving, and we're continuing with that. And then just attendance, we've seen a very large increase in demand for programs.
And then to speak to some of the community program initiatives in the arenas that we're excited about to host here in the future. The Skating School Bus, you may have heard of that program before. It was one that we first piloted in 2012. It's a program where we go to the schools and pick the kids up at the end of their school day, and then parents pick them up at the end of their work day. So it's a great program for the community. And we're currently in the process of the procurement phase to purchase a 24-passenger bus, and to resurrect that program that ended in 2020, like a lot of things in 2020. And because we used to work with the city of Campbell River, and we used a vehicle that they didn't use throughout the school year, and it worked well where we worked or used their vehicle. And but you know that we hear about that program, and where is that program? When is it coming back? We hear about that all the time, and we're hoping to use that also to expand it to for adding pickup for service in Area D residents that may want to attend fitness or our rehab programs, and then also to use it throughout the summer for our summer programming or summer camps. And then talking about ST70 school rentals, we allocated this spring 3 ice times per week. I think it was Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and they were set aside specifically for SD72 and the classrooms that wanted to plan field trips, incorporate into their PE classes, or just have a year-end celebration this spring. And then as well with SD72, we're going to be starting in 2024 with Cedar Elementary School, the Jumpstart program, and it's one that we had hosted prior to 2020 as well. It allows students in grade 3, 4, and 5 from Cedar come to the facility on Mondays and Wednesdays for a skate, and then a fun swim on Fridays. And that starts in January, and it goes all the way till spring break.
And in the pool, we've begun relaunching our school swim lesson program. So we started this spring, getting 2 schools in. And our goal is to get back to the point where in the community, every grade 3 class gets an opportunity to come for a set of swimming lessons. And so in 2023, that will look like 4 schools sending their grade 3 classes. And in addition, we've worked with Carey High to create a school gym class program where one of their options, so when the students select what gym class they'd like to participate in, one of those gym class options will be a water safety program where students from grade 9 through grade 12 can come and take whether it's swim lessons or learning how to be a lifeguard. Depending on where the students are at that register for that program, we'll be able to meet that need and help the community be more water safe, and also hopefully develop some more lifeguards through that program. We've increased our programming for young families. So we've got the Mom and Me and Mom to Be Water Fit program where you can come while you're pregnant, and then now we've run the program long enough that we're starting to see these young babies come back, and it's a really important social piece for these new moms, as well as health and fitness. And then the next piece that we've added is some more affordable options. So we've got our Walking Wednesday program, for example, that's run in partnership with the city. And because we're sharing that load, we're able to reduce the cost. And it's a free program, actually, where members of the community can just meet with the instructors and go for a guided walk in, areas. And there's different terrain levels. So depending on your ability, you'll see I can participate in this walk, but not this walk. And they have support the whole way, whether it's first aid or just having somebody to walk with. If you're elderly or a single female, you might not feel comfortable walking in the woods alone. It will be a group to walk with.
And then just to note some capital projects that we're working in 2023, we are adding some automatic doors to Arena 2. We see struggling kids and parents come in and out of that arena steady. And so we are going to add, like our front entrance, some automatic doors just to make life easier for everybody. And then there's the skating school bus is another one as well. And then just for finance, it's not really a capital projects, but I think it's worthy to note that our scheduling software that we have has a timesheet module. And so we've been working with the corporate finance department to streamline and make things more efficient. And then just what's next, we had on the books to replace a glycol header in the Rod Brindamore Arena. We're waiting to see what happens with the arena portion of Recreate before we do that. But we are looking at the arena, Rod Brindamore Arena dehumidifiers, both arenas, the overhead heaters, and a dogwood air handler. And then these are just assets that are at the end of their life. And then we've had several safety concerns over the years regarding the arena netting, particularly the Rod Brindamore Arena with the stands there and some pucks that do go astray. And we've actually just yesterday added the netting just to make it a safer space. And then just building improvements, we're constantly improving and looking at ways to make it efficiency that work within our budgets. So we have areas that needed high efficiency LED lighting. We've done that. Anywhere where we can improve the building envelope and insulation, we've done that. We're just constantly working within those budgets to make those spaces just more efficient. And then just, community involvement, this year we had a bit of a thought. We were a little bit late, but, we want to look at organizing an RC Expo. I think there's a lot in the community, whether it's planes, cars, boats, that sort of thing, as well as, what are those drones that fly around. I mean, it's a big thing. And so we wanted to sort of prepare some space. We've reached out to those groups. They are interested. And we could see that in the future and maybe having an annual RC Expo.
And Robin, if I could just add to that, you guys have probably heard of the game pickleball. We hosted a tournament 2 weeks ago where we had 106 people participate. So it's a growing sport, like everybody says. It's not going anywhere.
And today, our CDM, our chronic disease management group, they had a potluck lunch today. It's something that we do, and, it's just growing. And I believe today we had 85 people. And these are seniors that love getting together, love sharing their food and their stories. And that's what happened today up at the garden. So constant community involvement. And just goals. We want to continue expanding our partnerships with the schools. Just regarding the recreation that we can provide and offer, we have times where there is low usage, but schools could have openings for, their recreation programs. We want to just engage parents on, their needs, explore drop-in programs for teens only, just like our weight room. And then there's the aquatics, offering more swim lessons, because that was one thing that we do know that's still out in the community, that they want more swim lessons. They feel that is a big safety item on their list to keep their kids safe. And we have a lot of water activities, we have a lot of water recreation in this community. So we are exploring ways to maximize that, and that is part of engaging the school board as well. And then it's for future recruiting and lifeguards. They get interested, and we can have them for a short time before they move on to other careers, but there's opportunity there. And then we wanted to sort of highlight, something that we're pretty proud of that happened this year in the North Island Outdoor Show, and sort of the extent of the success and the feedback. And Craig's going to talk to this a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree, Robin. We are very proud of this show. We started planning this in June of 2019 to host in April of 2020. And of course, that was canceled. And it was so nice to see this show actually happen because it had been a vision of ours for a number of years. And it was pretty impressive to sit in the stands, and we opened the doors and watched the people come in and start to enjoy the show that we had set up. The exhibitor space, it sold out actually 2 months prior to the start of the event, and we had nearly 2,600 people attend the event in the 2 days over the Saturday, Sunday. Next slide, please. So we offered a couple of different levels of sponsorship. The gold level sponsorship, it attracted a broad range of organizations from our community. We had radio stations, wildlife tour companies, kayaking, fishing resorts, and even an insurance broker to cover you for all the equipment while you're on these adventures. The gold level, it included the vendor booth, logo on all the promotional materials, including press releases, all social media and radio advertising. And then the silver level, we had Camel River Whale Watching, Capit, Eagle Eye Adventures, West Coast Expeditions, and Walters Cove Fishing Resort. And Buzz Bomb Lures, they donated a whole bunch of lures both Saturday and Sunday. The first 50 people that walked through the door got a free Buzz Bomb. That was well received. And at the silver level, you enjoyed a free vendor booth, company logo on our website, and all social media platforms. Next slide, please. The exhibitors, and I'll say too that for the show, it had its own website, and people were able to go on the site and hover over and click on the logos that you see, and it would take you straight to their page. So it was a good way for the organizations to advertise themselves and what they're going to bring to the show. We had so much good feedback from the exhibitors. We've got quite a few people that are already interested in finding out when they can register for next year. And because it was our first time hosting it on the floor, we planned it as best we could and mapped it out, but we were actually able to next year add 10 more booths to the space. And this is the interior floor plan. You can see that we had 35 8x10 booths, and this is another part of our website. So, people and vendors could go on and have a look and see where they would land at their booth once they came to the facility. And then we had the bulk space booths, where those were 500 square foot booths, and there's 10 of those for bigger things like boats, trailers, and RVs. And then outside, we also had bulk space. And the highlight of the outside, it was pretty neat because those companies brought their boats and had them parked in the parking lot. So it was a real eye catcher as you drove down Dogwood. And the Parksville Boathouse, they brought a 34-foot Kingfisher that was valued at over $650,000. So that was pretty neat to watch that roll into our parking lot.
And then just a quick Recreate update. There's been an amendment to the bylaw. It is in Victoria currently. And then we're working through the alternate approval process. And then I think Wolf has a report just regarding the permitting and working with the city on the next steps. And questions, comments, feedback?
Very good presentation, Robin and your staff. Thank you.
Thank you.
So one of the things I guess that caught my eye, and it looks like you're doing it, is that we could be offering more services and having more people through the door, but we're sort of capacity limited with staff and training, and that seems to be everywhere. Is that sort of what I'm hearing?
Yeah, particularly in the pool. We're at capacity in two ways. So for our regional district offered programming, we're at capacity staff-wise, and while we're onboarding staff as fast as we can, we know we're playing, like Robin said, we're playing catch-up. We still can't meet community need. And so when we partnered with the swim clubs, they are at capacity, but what they're finding is their capacity is due to swimming pool space. So both clubs have, they've reached the maximum number of members that they can take in their club based on how much space they can get in the pool.
Well, that's interesting because we have that issue of going forward today, and we know that we're talking about redesigning the pools because that's been long underway. Is that going to be sufficient? I mean, do you need us to reconsider anything?
Well, the new space definitely has more space than the existing space. The current configuration is a 6-lane, 25-meter, and the new is an 8-lane. I don't know if it doesn't matter how big you build it, somebody's still going to want more. It's my thoughts on that. I think what we have planned will definitely work for the community. As it grows, that's another question or direction from the commission for sure.
If I may, Robin, also the new leisure pool space will be much more multi-use friendly than our current leisure pool is. So currently our leisure pool is so shallow in lots of part of the pool that you can't do rehab programs or run swimming lessons in that part of the pool. So in each pool that we have, so the main pool, the leisure pool, and the rehab pool will all be fully usable space for all programs. So that will make a big difference in the new facility as well.
And I was just curious, one of the other things that came up to my mind was, are you noticing any new trends? Are more of the users of a different demographic? Is it more children in demand? Is it more seniors in demand? Is it causing pressures time-wise? Because, children aren't always available during school years except after 3. Seniors have more availability during the day. Is there a group that you're underserving? And I'm thinking people like me who work 9 to 5.
I would say the group that comments the most is the group that doesn't like it if we cut any fitness classes. And one of the challenges with the space and determining what activities happen at what time and in what spaces, about 7 years ago, they increased fun in pools and decreased lessons, which they say is a result in the decrease of interest in being a lifeguard. Get the pool kids in young and they do develop and they do enjoy being a lifeguard. Some of them stay doing it, some of it move on. But it is directly related to that. We feel that the new configuration of the pool will accommodate everybody. And then one thing, like I noticed at the facility, is that when the families come to the facility, they're very multi-use. They've got kids on the ice and kids in the pool, or both. And so they're juggling and balancing. And so there's a lot of activity after school in our facility. So that's why we're trying to partner with the school district to use some of that space where the kids are in school for their physical activity times, right?
Any further questions from the commissioners?
I do.
Yes, thank you, Director Rice.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just basically some comments. I know that I did get a lot of feedback on the outdoor show. That is tremendous. I think what needs to be really focused on is that the North Island has something that's different. So, I've spent enough time on Vancouver Island. What we do in the center, like Nanaimo and Victoria, is completely different than the opportunities that we have on the north end of the island. So it's really important to highlight that. Love the fact that you want to work more with the schools. I think if we can get the young kids engaged in things, those are all healthy, good activities. So I like to see that. Also quite impressed with the social media. I think in this day and age, if we're going to get the numbers that we want to, hit the people that we want to, we have to look at the new technologies, make sure that the websites, whatnot, are friendly for mobile devices, all of those things. So thank you. Very good report.
Anyone else? Cal? I think we've already received the report, have we not? No?
Presentation, no.
Okay, so we'll have a motion to receive the presentation.
Move report.
Thank you. Second. Thank you, Commissioner Dahl. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? It's carried. Thank you, staff. That was quite a great report. Do we want it more often, everyone? Do we want it maybe every 6 months, or what is staff capacity on this?
In the past, we've done it quarterly, so we can keep that up if it, you find it informative and useful. Again, I think once they have the slide deck in there, then just update it and keeps the commission informed of kind of use, the facility, where the trends are, what we're doing, and kind of just gives you a pulse on what's going on at the garden. So
Great. Okay. Thank you. So are we now moving on to item 2? Yes. I'll take a motion. The report from the Chief Administrative Officer we received on the Recreate.
Move receipt.
Second.
And I believe Wolf will speak to this. There he
Thank you.
is.
Good afternoon. Through the CAO and the chair to the commission members. The report in front of you is to consider the direct award of the detailed design contract of the Rod Bryn Amor Arena to the existing consultants that we have, to be more specific, to the group of consultants that we hired back in 22 to design the new aquatic center and the wellness center. So a little bit of history on that. Back in January 20, this present year, the commission supported the regional district moving forward with the design and the construction of the Recreate project. So moving forward with those steps, we believe that this approach allows the regional district to best achieve the community vision of the facility. That vision was worked back in 2017 and 2018 between regional district staff, Strathcona Garden staff, and the community. That vision has been included in the schematic design, and that is the vision that we're actually working on and that we're planning to design with this group of consultants if this report has the recommendation approved. So in 2021, we put engineering services, put RFP together. So we hire a complete group of consultants. We hire prime consultant and sub-consultant teams, engineers as well. We put an RFP to also hire a construction manager who could help us with understanding the phasing and all the challenges with constructability. As well, we hire a project manager that will provide advice on the entire process and someone who's got the experience with this type of complex projects. So we're very pleased with the work that they have done through all these months, over a year. We work with all of them. They have gained an incredible knowledge of the building components. For example, HCMA was part of the feasibility study, was part of the schematic report. They developed a detailed design for the aquatic center and the wellness center. AME Group, they have a professional who's been involved since the 1970s. They participated in the design of the replacement of the packages, as well, the boilers and other electrical and mechanical components. So I think we having that knowledge and having that understanding will be beneficial to the project to continue working with them. This experience and familiarity with the facility are expected to lead the efficiencies that a new team will not possess. It's also really important to understand that continuity of the design team will streamline the incorporation of any changes that could impact the design of phase 2. Really important to understand. I think there are some risks and benefits as well. I think some of the risk is having two different teams working on site. I think that will bring some level of complexity. After reviewing the proposals that we received from HCMA, Make Projects, and Heather Bray, we believe that, for example, HCMA proposal is below the industry standards. We have attached documentation related to the tariffs that they're to follow, AIBC, so they're giving us a way lower percentage rate. Make Projects has proposed a 15% discount if they work in both phases, and Heather Bray is well known in the industry in the Lower Mainland and here on the island for helping with the constructability, with the projects that require to keep the building operational while the project is being built. So we have studied all three proposals and we have reviewed it, and we believe that we feel that they offer a good value for the project. The total professional fees are included in the staff report, and we have two options to the commission to please make a decision. This option A is to the detailed design work of the Rod Brinkman Arena renovation be awarded to the current consultant team, HCMA, May Projects, and Heather Bray. And option T, that the detailed design work for the Brinkman Arena renovation of the subject, renovation be the subject of a separate competitive request for proposal process. I welcome your questions. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for the report. Are there any questions from the commissioners? Yes, Commissioner Dole.
I just think it makes sense to stay with the same consultants that we've been working with. They've got all of that knowledge already, and that takes time, which costs money to learn. So it's far more cost efficient to stick with the people we know.
Yes,
I would
Commissioner Rice.
agree with that, and I think moving option A would be the best option.
Okay. Do we need the receipt and then the option A? Okay, so let's, any further discussion on receipt? All in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none, it's carried. And motion to move option
I would make that motion.
A? Thank you, Cal.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? It's carried. See how easy we are to get along with today. Thank you. Now we're at number 3, the Recreate Project Phase 1 permit process and fees. I'll take a motion that the report from the CAO be received.
Move receipt.
Second.
Thank you. Any
I think
presentation?
Wolf will speak to this as well.
Thank you through the CAO and the chair to the commission members. Regional district staff continue working really hard on the project and proactively. So we have a couple of processes that are going in parallel in order to save us sometimes. And so the first one is related to the amendment of the bylaw, which is currently with the inspector of municipalities down in Victoria. We're waiting to hear back from them. That will lead to an alternative approval process and hopefully to start the construction of the Recreate project. But we have to understand really well that before we can actually start building the project, we need to have permits in place. So we need 3 permits, and this report specifically is related to the permits that we have with the city of Campbell River. So we have a development permit process that will take 4 months, and we have a building permit process that takes approximately 6 months. Normally, a DVP is applied first, and then the BP continues. We have agreed with the city of Campbell River, and we're very happy to hear that we can actually do a submission at the same time, so they can review these 2 applications to save us some time. And we're hoping that by the end of the year, if all goes really well, we can have these permits in place. And that it kind of aligns with the process that we have, the AAP and or steps, and aligns also with the plan that we have to tender the project. So that's a little bit about the permitting process. So the city of Campbell River, they have some schedule for fees. We have done a calculation of those fees. We anticipate that the development permit process will cost us approximately $780. That's not a significant amount of money. But the building permit is $350,000. That's based on construction cost. So that's what we have right now. And there are other additional costs that we don't have these numbers, but we anticipate that that's going to be charged to the project, and that's related to development cost charges and work and services, securities, and and also work and lands and permit fees. So we We have a couple of alternatives included with the report, and option A would be that the commission recommend that the regional district request the city of Campbell River to waive the building permit fees and the development permit fees for the Recreate project at Strathcona Gardens. And the option B is that the commission recommend that the regional district may not request to the city of Campbell River to waive the building permit fees and development permit fees for the Recreate project. Thank you.
Well, thank you for that report. Are there questions from the commissioners? Okay, well, I have one. Or go ahead, Commissioner Dahl.
How soon would we be ready to apply for the DVP?
When are we ready to apply?
Yeah, you haven't submitted an application yet, right?
We plan to submit an application within the next 3 weeks.
Okay.
So we're working with other consultants to make sure that they meet the requirements of the city of Campbell River. Just to give you an example, we're working with a surveyor to actually have all the information that is needed, get the survey signed, and we're working with the environmental consultant, so we're pretty close to have the application submitted.
And if it didn't take them 6 months to process the permit?
For building permit, 6 months. For development variance permit, 4 months. That's what they told us.
We're basically ready to go. There's only, we've got the design done, we've got it tender ready. We're going out to the AAP as soon as the inspector brings it back to get borrowing authority from the community. That process takes probably about 4 months total. As soon as we have that borrowing authority, the next day we're ready to go. So that borrowing bureaucracy is our longest timeline right now, and the building permit, we're trying to line that up. So if the building permit is 4 to 6, that'll line up with our borrowing authority. So even though 6 months, yeah, it sounds like a lot, if it was 3 to 4, we think we can align all those things up, and then we're ready to issue a tender the next day.
Sorry, if I may clarify why we didn't apply for a building permit before, because we didn't have the funding or the approval to actually move forward with the construction.
I guess my question is, can the city waive these costs? I think there's some limitations perhaps on waiver, or do we know if there's some creative way, if you're going to go to the city and say, can we waive development cost charges? I had the impression that sometimes local governments were somewhat constrained.
I believe you can, but how about this? We write a letter to the city and they'll tell us if they can or they can't. But again, if you know somebody, but I believe they can. But maybe there's some challenges with that or some ways about doing it. But I thought from our perspective, ask the city, and to see how challenging or what impact that has to the city as well, right? Because we know that's going to take city resources. So, write and request, and then the city staff can come back to you and say, here's the good, bad, and the ugly with that.
Right. I am aware generally that development cost charges can be reduced if there's been prior funds expended on the development in the past.
I mean,
so these are kinds of things that maybe we can figure it out. But
and there's special rules for local government. In essence, is that we're taking it, you're giving it to us, and we're giving it right back to you. Right? That's the definition of bureaucracy right there. So, we're a partner, we're a member of the community. So there is exemptions that can be made certainly through the Local Government Act.
any further questions? Okay, so we've got a motion for receipt. Have we already finished the vote on that? Okay. All in favor of receipt? Any opposed? Okay, that's carried. And I take it we're looking at option A or option B motion.
I would move option A.
Thank you, Commissioner Rice.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor of option A? Any opposed? That's carried. So, yes, we have our new business because we're going to skip through bylaws, correspondence, and commissioner reports. So, Commissioner Rice.
What I have an item here that I would just have for discussion. We do have a motion that if the discussion goes well, we can put it up. But I think it's about time for this commission to take a look at the fact that we have 3 other electoral areas that are not paying fees for the gardens. And I think it's time that they should. So I'm proposing that we entertain a motion that would have a report come back that would give us some information on how the other electoral areas could be paying through their user fees.
So is this the motion that you're making?
It is.
Okay, second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Dahl. Any discussion on the motion? Yes, Commissioner Smythe.
This is a straight motion, not a notice of motion, correct?
We
Yeah,
added it to the agenda.
Yeah. Thanks.
I didn't hear that.
Oh, he just asked if it was notice motion. It's not.
It's just a procedural issue, and the chair is saying it's in line, so there you go. Want to challenge me? Okay, any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? It's carried. So I don't think we have anything else, do we? Oh, motion to terminate, please.
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Dahl.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Smythe. All in favor? Yes, I think that's carried. Thank you very much, everyone, for attending. Thank you, staff, for all the reports and hard work.